Sometimes people will say, sure, we can expect that these new technologies are going to disrupt the job market, and a lot of jobs are certainly going to disappear. But at the same time, we can be confident that entirely new kinds of work are going to be created. Things that today we maybe can't even really anticipate or even imagine. These new jobs are going to be created, and of course that will create opportunities for the people that lose jobs in the areas that get automated. And that, of course, is absolutely true. I mean, in fact, you can already think of lots of jobs that exist today that not too long ago we wouldn't have been able to anticipate. Things like website designers or social media marketers or data scientists. These are all new kinds of work. So that is an absolute, that's the correct way of viewing things. But what I'm showing on this particular graph, if you look at the bar chart on the right, is that while these new areas of work, these new occupations, new job titles do in fact exist, they're not a very large share of total employment. It turns out that in the United States, about 90% of the workforce is engaged in occupations that existed 100 years ago. So these are things like preparing and serving food, driving vehicles, working in retail stores, working in factories and warehouses, working in healthcare as doctors and nurses. These are all occupations that someone in, say, the year 1915 would have been quite familiar with, and it's still where the vast majority of our workers are engaged. So the point I'm making is that it's pretty clear that a lot of these traditional areas of work are going to be disrupted in the relatively near future. As these new technologies come on board. I mean, just to take one really obvious example, think of the impact of self-driving vehicles, both cars and trucks. That's something that is certainly coming. Anywhere from 5 years to 20 years from now, I think we're going to see that impact for sure. And that is clearly going to impact millions and millions of jobs for people that drive trucks and also people that drive taxis and Ubers and all the rest of it. In 29 of the US states, driving a truck is actually the single most common occupation. So I think that disruption is coming, and the question is, when those millions of jobs ultimately disappear, what is going to be there to absorb those workers? And I do think that there are reasons to be concerned that while these new occupations are going to be created, there are two things to worry about. One, is there going to be enough of them? Are there really going to be enough of those jobs? And so far, the evidence doesn't suggest that there will be. And the second thing is there going to be a skill mismatch in the sense that maybe these new opportunities are going to be created, but are they really going to be a good match for that truck driver that loses a job, or maybe for the fast food worker working at McDonald's, or a clerical worker doing some routine white-collar type job? I think that many workers may struggle to transition into these new occupations if, in fact, and there's some evidence to suggest that these new occupations require a very high level of technical skill or creativity or some other intellectual sophistication. So there may be good reasons to believe that we're going to see both an absolute shortfall of the number of jobs out there and also this skill mismatch issue. So again, I think this points to a coming challenge that we might need to really begin to focus on.